Welcome, everybody, to episode 27 of PT Shop Talk. On today's episode, we talk about transition from staff clinician into leadership and finish up with our top 5 burgers we've ever eaten. With me today, as always, is Nick Burnett Black Doeling and Jeremy Two Patty Special Sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, Van Kloppenberg. Welcome, gentlemen.
Welcome.
I had to practice that. I didn't remember that offhand. So
it's a Big Mac, right?
Yeah.
Big Mac.
The old Big Mac.
Yeah.
I figured that was the only burgers available to you growing up, Jeremy.
Because I'm big.
Oh, that works too.
Yeah, that was kind of the gourmet go-to, but on Doeling family vacation, I found out that the golden arches still live on.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
My kids all about it.
Coveted.
Yeah. That was fun.
Like had all these beautiful restaurants to go eat, and they're like, F that.
Go to McDonald's. Man. The little guys especially.
My kids love McDonald's too, man. That's like the place they want to go. Although they requested DQ the other day.
Ooh, well,
yeah,
DQ
they had
something different.
Ice cream in their mind, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
God knows that McDonald's Frosty machine or whatever they call it, McFlurry machine that sucker ain't never open.
My little guys are all about the Happy Meals.
And
seeing what to it. I mean, it's such a simple idea, but man, they're all into it. It sucks them right in.
Yeah, it's like flavored cigarettes with smoking. They know how to roll the kids in.
Joe Camel, nothing cooler.
Yeah, agreed. He was sweet. As an adult, though, I appreciate the Marlboro, man. I feel like that dude got a ton of play in like the 70s and 80s, right?
Did you ever save up your miles and set them in for a kayak?
Yeah, I know. I just needed the
miles.
Jacket was all I wanted, man.
Oh, I had this buddy whose parents were hardcore smokers. I mean, we're talking Reds, and they'd save their miles all the time, like above the fridge. It was so funny. And when I'd stay, you know what? When you're a kid, and you're hanging out, or even when you grow up, you just thumb through the catalogs that are like when you're hanging out, right? So
yeah, right.
They had there. So you thumb through, and they always have these Marlboro catalogs, like what you could send in if you smoked a freaking butt ton of cartons of cigarettes, and then send them in.
So many cigarettes.
I know you always wonder the cost of cancer. You had it right there in a magazine.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to run the numbers.
You can get a jacket. You can get the kayaks still stick out to me. All these outdoor adventure things.
Yeah, that's what smokers love is the outdoors.
And they're all like rugged dudes on horseback. Like, this is Marlboro country.
Oh, that was big time, man. The dude was cool. Like I said, that guy was slaying it, as the kids say, I would imagine.
Yeah, nothing sus about him.
No, not at all. Yeah, he was a good player.
Speaking a whole nother language right now.
Yeah.
You guys remember, this is an aside, when like Mountain Dew used to always do the points and you could save those up and like send off for stuff?
I don't know if I remember
caps.
Yeah, the caps would have points.
They did during March Madness quite a bit.
I remember, yeah.
There was like so you probably don't remember this promotion where they like jokingly said like for, I don't know, like 1 million points or something, you could win like a helicopter.
Well, I don't remember
And
that.
some dude collected enough caps to get the helicopter or the fighter pilot or whatever. And like, I don't know, I'd have to look it up. It just comes in my mind now that you mentioned these Marlboro points, but he like sued Mountain Dew because they were like, dude, that was clearly a joke.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, it didn't say so in the ad. Like, I have enough points. I want my helicopter. And I believe he won. I don't know what he won. I doubt he won a helicopter. That seems irresponsible of a jury and judge. But
see, what I remember when you're talking Mountain Dew, and Jeremy kind of teed off into like the Final Four of the March Madness thing, but I remember they were legit sweet about like every 6 got a free Mountain Dew.
Oh yeah, and it was just straight up free. You just brought the cap in, set it on the counter, went to the cooler, grabbed your Dew. Like, you didn't have to pay tax or anything.
God, that was some super sweet Dew.
People were pissed when they went to buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
That was pandemonium in my hometown. People were ready to go to PepsiCo and just burn it to the ground.
As they should have.
And now a 20 ouncer of Mountain Dew is like $3. So that's where we're at in the world today.
Jeepers creeper, you're right.
I don't know what
Dang
they really
inflation.
cost, but I'm sure it's well over $2. I remember when they went over $1.
That was a big deal.
It's like,
And
ooh, who can afford $1?
They were under $1 for most of my 89 cents forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't remember the last Mountain Dew I purchased.
Mm.
That'd be going back. It's
What do you
probably
mean?
like a Code Red or something.
Ooh,
Code Red.
the
That's
worst
still-
of the dudes.
That's got
huh?
legs, man. That
Yeah.
thing's still kicking.
Yeah.
I still think
I don't think there was enough food dye in normal Mountain Dew. Wait till you have Code Red.
PK's Punch, man. They ripped it off.
PK's. Oh, he's throwing some candy out there.
Oh.
Go on,
Yeah.
King. Tell them about
They
your
ripped
PK
it,
punch.
man. That was the original Code Red. That's all I gotta say.
It's just
Pepsi
Mountain Dew and
Code
grenadine, right?
What's that?
Just Mountain Dew and grenadine, right?
Yeah, which I imagine is exactly what Code Red Mountain Dew is.
Pretty much.
Except replace grenadine with 400 different chemicals to simulate grenadine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's artificially flavored.
What's a blast of
Grenadine.
cherry flavor? Blast in your mouth.
Okay. Yeah. That's sold. Boy, that
Sold.
marketing sells itself. Blast away.
Gosh, so on that vacay,
don't screen cap that, please.
we talked about different, like we've talked in the past about maybe a topic being like favorite YouTubers to like kind of get into. And on our little vacay, Jeremy and I was, kind of teeing him up, introducing him to some of my food challenge guys that I love following. And that,
Okay.
that went right into Badlands Chug, this dude out in New York City, somewhere out there. And what did he drink, Jeremy? He had like 9 Mountain Dews.
Over a gallon of Mountain Dew. It was like 160 ounces.
Like all the different flavors that are available, even one from Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like beer bong this thing?
He just straight chugged it out of this like comically large wine glass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did
man.
what was it, like 47 seconds?
Really?
It was
Yeah,
nuts.
it was under a minute. It was like 160 ounces in under a minute.
Dang, it was
How do
just
you
disgusting
feel?
looking.
I mean, I guess I could go watch, but
he
It
looked
seemed
happy.
like it seemed like he was doing his thing.
that seems like a lot of sugar for your body to process.
It was.
Yeah,
I mean, they showed it like
that
every one of those was like
pancreas
270 calories, and
he's no longer pre-diabetes.
No, pushed him over the edge, huh?
he went full T2
Yeah. Well,
Judgment Day.
it probably is that what the doctors say too when you go in there.
Yeah, unlike
It's worth the money, worth the
Unlike the
followers.
food challenge dudes that I like to follow, and even some there's some gals that are like they're like in great shape, and they break it down because they're amazing at competitive eating, but they only do it every couple of weeks as like a cheat day. So it kind of fits. And then this guy is not doing that. He's straight chugging every day.
Yeah,
He's a huge
fit
dude.
in shape? No. Okay.
No.
So
No.
the quote unquote band of fat theory doesn't affect him too much. He does all right.
He's
Every
got-
day was his cheat day.
Yeah.
Every
That's
day is a
fun
cheat
stuff.
day. That's exciting.
God, we really got off the beaten path there. We're talking chugging dews and Code Reds, PK
Yeah.
punch.
Speaking of chugging dews and McDonald's, how did the Doeling family vacay go? Anything
I'd say
exciting to report?
It was a raging success.
Yeah.
Yes.
How was Green Bay? You swung by, correct?
We just about kissed
it?
Green Bay. Yeah, we swung. I think it was.
That's
like,
not where you got your
some-
deep dish pizza at Green Bay.
Common. That's what they're known for.
Deep dish.
We thought we did. Okay. Let's
Cheese.
back
They got
it away.
lots of cheese.
So Green Bay was on the way back. On the way to, we stopped in Chicago, got some deep dish courtesy of Giordano's. They have like
Good.
hundreds of locations now, but that was still amazing.
Now you'd had this before. This was not your first attempt at this pizza because it looked
Correct.
phenomenal on the pics you sent. I mean, that's
Yeah.
How much cheese would you say is on that pizza pound
Enough,
wise?
well, enough to make you not need to go to the bathroom for a few days. Go back.
It's got to be like a pound plus. I mean,
God, it's gotta
a
be
couple
more.
pounds.
Yeah, I mean,
That
how
was,
much?
did I send you that sweet
feel
pic of like Gunner lifting it up and like,
Yeah.
man,
How much
that's
is a slice of
ridiculous.
that sucker weigh?
I don't know if it's quite a pound, but it's. I mean, you're approaching it.
Yeah.
It
8
was.
slices?
I mean, pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Look
So that
good.
kicked off the
I
trip.
love pizza, especially deep
yeah.
dish.
So after eating a whole slew of cheese, delicious cheese.
Yeah. Well, you got to
we
start
get-
that vacation plug, as they say, because you're not going to want to have to stop. Poop
Yeah.
places, you know. strangers' places to poop.
Then we rung in the lovely Independence Day with Jeremy and his family, and
Yep.
met some new friends. I believe at one point I attempted to drink my body weight in seltzers.
Hmm.
Um,
Good call.
just
That's healthy,
went-
though. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's like a
100
food
calories at a
negative,
time.
right?
Yeah,
It was close. I think you almost made it.
almost. Yeah,
Very close.
Yeah, the problem is you try to drink your own weight in something, you keep gaining weight as you drink, though. It's a
Yeah.
losing battle.
I went with my base weight.
Oh, smart.
And then we went and spent got to spend 4 lovely nights at the Van Klompenberg residence in Whitehall, and then swung about 4 hours north of there, stayed crossed the Mackinac Bridge, which was the first time we've ever done that.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Cool. Yeah, super. Have you done it?
Yeah.
I did not know that is the longest bridge in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Even it's like 900 feet longer than the Golden Gate Bridge.
Mhm.
Big
I mean,
bridge.
it's sweet. It's really cool. And then we went over to Mackinac Island on Friday. Really cool. A lot of history there, honestly.
That I have not done yet.
Really cool. Did the ferry. We did the big ferry ride. The kids love that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Then we had like 12 hours, just under 12 hours to drive home on Saturday, and
Ooh, that's a run, huh?
butt numbing. And that's where we swung. We went through the Upper Peninsula, came down through Menominee, Michigan, which like is like a border city with Manette, something like that, Marionette, Wisconsin, and then cut over. Yeah,
Oh, so you actually were close to Green Bay.
very close. I think our
I
final
thought
time
you
was
were
like
kidding.
9 miles, 10 miles.
Oh, and you didn't just like say, hey, we're gonna drive by the stadium, like take a half hour out of your day.
I mean, we kind of thought we talked about like, hey, if you were to rebook the trip, what would you do differently and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We maybe would have only spent one night in St. Ignace, and then but then we said that, but then it's like hard to
Yeah,
hard
don't
to
second
squeeze
guess
in
your
the-
trip.
yeah. We're not doing that. Not trying to take away, but I wouldn't have minded swinging down a little further into Green Bay and like spending a night there. Getting some pics like flipping off Lambeau Field. So
Yeah, oh, you got to put it on our Facebook page for our followers.
One of
Wanna
their-
see
I
it.
want to know.
one of their 100,000 owners would come over and like swear at me, cuss me
Yeah.
out.
Get off my property. Think they ever do that?
Come on now, put that middle finger away.
As they're flipping you off with both their hands, I
Yeah,
assume.
don't give me the bird now.
Scotties.
Scotty's Scotty. That place is beautiful though. For real, like we cut across, we drove the whole width of the state a couple times over, and I gotta say that's some beautiful country over there. They have almost, it seems like it would be similar amount of farmland that we have in Minnesota and the Dakotas. The only difference is they've basically retained all their forest land.
Hmm.
I mean, it's very green, a lot more green than like what we're used to. So big
Just
fan
a
of
zero green.
yeah, right. Like from the topography of like Foster County from when I grew up is drastically different now. Our farm was just over 9 miles outside of Carrington, and you could never, growing up, there's so many shelter belts that were built along the way, and you couldn't see any lights from Carrington, and now you can see the whole town from our farm. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's valuable land.
It
Yep.
is. When you can plant
Just-
corn and beans, why keep them trees up?
Yeah, just let it blow to wherever you want it to.
Yep.
Share with your neighbors, I guess. Some value to it, but so did you guys we talked about no fireworks on the 4th? You guys just partook in other people's? You got all your digis?
We didn't do a big to do. Our town
gotta
it
celebrate
was
your
kinda
freedom.
disappointing. Our town was like, they put it off till the 30th for some reason, and there were a couple other places around that were doing them, but they would have been just a bear to get in and out of. I think it would have been.
Because what's the rules over there on your personal fireworks? Yay, nay?
Yeah, you can. Yep,
Yeah.
you can have. The kids were throwing these snappy things and
Mm.
sparklers and such, but
Man, have you guys seen like the new snaps? They're like small sticks of dynamite. Those suckers will blow a hole in the sidewalk.
No, have
I
not.
got them here. That doesn't seem legal. Lose an eye. Those suckers. Kids like them. Kids like them. Kids love sparklers, though. I was surprised. My kids could not get enough sparkler action.
Mm.
I think it was because it was like the first time they had like free reign of fire. Like I just lit the stick and they just walked around and tried to set stuff on fire with them, which we're out of my farm, so fire away, right?
Do it.
Yeah, do it.
And burn the weeds, please.
North Dakota's so free and easy when it comes to that too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the fireworks store there was loads. Like I said though, I think the bottle rocket thing it's weird that I can buy like an explosive mortar shell to blow into the air, but bottle rockets now they're like, nah, pretty sus. You can't really do that. Don't shoot those into the air.
Yeah.
But I could take a Roman candle and just fire it right at your
Blast.
face with much better accuracy.
That's what we used to do as kids. Roman candle wars.
Yeah, that's weird. So I had a few Roman candles I was again holding in my hand because I'm a responsible adult. And I was like, that's so weird. We used to shoot these at each other because that is a flaming hot ball of fire coming out of the sucker. Like,
yeah, it's wild.
Like, how did I don't ever remember getting hit by one, but it seems like that would have done some damage.
Yeah, I know I hit my brother in the arm and then took a beating afterwards. But
okay.
I do think he was like wearing a t-shirt or something that created a burn mark through there and then didn't do much to his skin. But
must fizzle out quickly, I suppose.
Torqued him off.
Yeah. Got that beaten, huh?
Yeah, I took a good beating.
Yeah.
Made me the punk I am today.
Poison album in front of you. So that's
He would have. He would have.
If you hadn't hidden those things like
open
treasures,
up and
huh?
say, snap. Right? Yeah.
That's graphic.
Good,
made that little cassette bite the curb.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. Even though, what else did he think was going to happen? I mean, we all agreed to the rules, right?
Yeah, you can't be mad.
What did he think?
You knew the risk.
He knew the risk. He knew. It was a calculated risk.
You just can't change the rules of the game because you don't like how I play.
Of course, when you're an older sibling, you never in a million years think that your younger sibling is going to be the one to score the point or
right
shoot you. It's like,
yeah,
no way. I'm
in his mind, you were just going to be covered in 3rd-degree burns, and he was going to have the time of his life.
Yeah, like that punk has it coming.
Yeah, showed him.
Yep.
Kids.
Well, that's exciting. And Jeremy, you're still with us today. That's always exciting-ish, not exciting. The countdown is on, huh?
You got some life changes coming real soon.
Yep. T-minus like 36 hours. I'm going to have a human.
Yep.
That's cool.
Woo, that is exciting. You all ready? How's the nursery look?
We're in it.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, that ain't bad. Looks like a lot less boxes than last time I saw you in there.
Yeah, we're getting some stuff together. So
yeah, it's nice. Is that wallpaper behind you, or you hand draw that?
I hand drew that.
Yeah, that's commitment. I like that.
I take care of a lot of the decorating around here. And
yeah, of the two, I always heard you were the style design.
Yeah. So highly known for my interior design. Got incredible. A lot of good energy in here right now, I believe.
It feels good. It feels fresh and clean in there. Like I like that positive new lightness to it.
Yeah. New lifeness
in your new lightness.
Yes.
We did like a painted mural on my son's room in our first house.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Then we moved like a year later. Felt like a waste, if I'm going to be honest.
Was it like 3 men and a baby?
We just watched that this weekend with my kids.
Don't they do that? They paint.
Their whole like wall is a mural of their lives, and then they had the kids in later, or the kid in later.
Yeah. Oh,
what a sweet movie. Yeah, I watched that. Watched 3 Men and a Little Lady first, and then went back and watched 3 Men and a Baby this weekend.
You prequeled it.
Yeah, I told him it was a lot like Star Wars. Steve Gutenberg becomes a villain. And I gotta say though, we were watching that and I was like, man, Tom Selleck, what a dreamboat. He was
right. We watched that like 2 years ago, and I'm like, what a stud! Like, no one like it's such an 80s like bro.
I know, and he's just he's an architect. He's a sweetheart. He's super smart. He's got his whole life together. This was the perfect man.
He owned that look. He owned that look of like the denim, like when you're going to work and you're like, this is how I thought men, like professional men should be.
Yeah.
Like he could wear denim jeans because he's like an architect. He's going to sites, right?
Yeah, like he's
wearing denim,
cool,
but
laid back.
tucked in his button-down shirt and had the
Mhm.
blazer over top.
The blazer
sports coat.
and
Yeah.
just a nicely fit blazer.
I'm like, man,
That place they live in,
wearing that.
man, 3 Men and a Baby, the place they live in, that bachelor pad is awesome. They have like the room of just audio video equipment.
Yeah.
That's like 400 rooms in that place. Like that scene when they
It's like a
break
loft,
into
right?
the house. Yeah. And they break in and try to find the drugs, and he's like running through the house to find the baby. That's like a 15-minute scene of him just trying to get from one end of that place to the other. Like, this place is awesome. Yeah.
We're doing a deep dive of 3 Men and a Baby. I love it. Jeremy, what are your thoughts?
Is that allowed in the Van Klompenberg house, or did the heroin get that thing banned?
I was just gonna say thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
I haven't seen it. I'll be honest.
What?
Sorry, guys.
I
Yeah,
need you to YouTube 3 Men
maybe.
and a Baby house break-in scene. You're gonna see this house and just be like, that thing is beautiful. That's crazy. You combine that with Tom Selleck, I can't imagine there was a gal in this town that hadn't been there, right?
I was gonna say I don't need to see the movie to know Tom Selleck had it all together.
Post Magnum PI. I mean, he was really rocking.
Yeah, top of his game.
Total dude. Total leader.
What?
Big time leader.
He's
He
the
was
leader of
the
that
leader
group.
of that group, for
Definitely
sure.
that group. Not a Gutenberg. Danson was okay.
Yeah, but he
not a
was kind of
leader.
the loser in that movie. Like,
Yeah, he's always screwed up. Always trying
Like-
to hang on to like the stardom thing.
yeah, and Gutenberg was just like, hey, he was in Police Academy, so just kind of like let him do his thing. He was like a cartoonist, a satirist. But you don't really hear much about whether he's good or not. Like, he's got his little room of pictures. But yeah.
They're all hanging on to the leader.
All
the
hanging on to the
Leonardo
leader.
of the group.
Do you think Selleck just rolled into that leadership role? What do you think brought him to there?
I think he had. I think he went through a transition phase.
Oh man, a transition phase. Let's talk about
Not
transition
unlike our
phases.
transition phase we're doing right now.
Yeah. Do you?
Segue.
It was a deep dive. I didn't think we'd have to transition from 3 Men and a Little Baby
A
to our
hard
topic
pivot.
today. Yep, big hard pivot. Yeah. So, do you feel like your career has mirrored Tom Selleck, Nick?
I'd have to know more about Selleck, but
Okay.
I do feel
Let
like
me paint you a picture. I know you wanted this a tight 90.
I came back from vacay with like some heavy stubble again. And I was on the fence over whether, hey, am I just gonna let it just go now? Like
you could have
from
done
time to
mustache
time.
for today.
And now I'm like really regretting it because I want a Tom Selleck mustache for real. And I can actually do it because I'm in my 40s now.
Yeah,
And
right. Like that's the official age.
I can actually do a decent mustache.
And it's not ironic. It's just like, oh yeah,
Exactly.
It
And
looks
I'm
good
not
on
like
my
one of
face.
these hipster 20-year-olds who's like, I'm gonna look really funny, whatever.
Yeah, now it's
the
just
real
like
deal.
a flag of maturity. It's fire
Yeah,
mustache.
and you
flag.
wear it long enough, it just becomes, hey, that's Nick's look. He's the mustache guy.
Mm-hmm. There's only one way to do it, man. Try it out.
Just gotta do it. Bite the bullet.
Jeremy, I don't feel like you're much of a mustache guy.
Can't grow one. Nope.
Yeah. It
Nope.
seems like a low stubble area for you.
Yep. Always roll with a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow, but that's about all the further it's gonna go.
What's the longest it's ever been?
I had a
It is a
beard
lot.
when I lived in Norway. That was pretty gross. It's pretty gross.
But everybody had
Picture that.
beards there, I assume.
Yeah. Fit right in. It was more of like I don't know if that was cultural appropriation or probably.
You were stealing beards from them?
You wear a beard. You're not like making fun of Amish people or something.
The Norse though.
You're just doing it to keep the cold weather off your skin.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Heritage. Yeah.
Yep.
I get it. You weren't a leader. You were just one of the people then. That's okay.
Not a leader.
I was not a leader. I was a follower.
He's a follower. So on the topic of leadership,
That's a nice smooth
specifically-
transition.
yeah, we were almost losing our transition, and before we knew it, we were going to be back talking about Amish people.
Yeah, don't do it.
Mo-
Just go
movie
on, Nick.
Witness with Harrison Ford or something like that.
Move forward.
So the main topic, since we all have done this, was early leadership, specifically the transition phase from staff clinician to a clinic manager role, because I believe that's been kind of the route we've all taken. So I thought that would be an interesting topic for the week, and something that still leaves a lot of kind of unearthed leadership territory that we can mine later on, kind of dig into down the road. But starting with those early, whether it's just, let's say maybe the first year, kind of narrowing it down to there, or even less, depending on what you've all experienced. But maybe I'll start out with maybe Casey, but what led to your decision to make that jump?
Yeah, I think for me, when I first started out, so we mentioned this on the pod a long time ago, opened up 2 clinics, one in Oaks, one in Milner, did that thing for a while. I wasn't managing anybody, so I wouldn't really call it a leadership role, but it was just, I guess, leading the clinic, getting that behind the scenes, how things roll. I enjoyed that. Things changed for me. I did the consulting thing for the computer system, so that was kind of a leadership role. But there was an end date to that too. That wasn't a permanent leadership role. Maybe had I been better at it, it maybe would have been. I don't know. But and then it rolled from that kind of back into just straight staff clinician, nose to the grindstone. Hit your productivity and just go. And I guess I kind of realized I missed that a little bit, but it wasn't ever a thing where it was like, someday I'm going to do this. My son was born, and then I decided I wanted to be a little closer home because I was commuting 45 minutes one way every day.
Yeah.
And then, so I moved to Fargo, and I've always wanted to do private practice. That has always been a thing for me. It's private practice and trying to find a way to affect our profession positively. And I feel like private practice is the way to go, or at least therapist-owned company.
Yeah.
So that's when I had the opportunity to my current company to jump into. So applied there, got the job, and I guess it just is one of those natural things where, I've always viewed when somebody gives you an opportunity, because our managers were burning pretty high as far as productivity and efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I was the only other full-timer. We had some other part-time therapists, but it was like whenever there was, corporate needed something done or wanted to get a program off the ground, like newsletters, just things like that, and I always took that as like, oh, that's cool that they're giving me an opportunity. So I just always did that stuff. And I always tell students, like, when people ask you to do stuff, just do it. Like, don't worry about getting compensated. Don't worry about how it's going to look down the road. Don't think of, is this going to affect my career positively? Like, I think just getting those experience. And I guess that just kind of led into them saying, hey, we're burning pretty hard. We need help. Would you be interested? And I guess my previous experience then led me to say, yeah, of course. I mean, I love that stuff. I used to love it. I sure wouldn't mind doing it again. So I guess it was just kind of the weird path my career took, but it was always something. I always felt like leadership, management, and eventual ownership, if that was a thing, was just such a positive way to be able to affect therapy, whether it's locally, long term.
So kind of driven out of necessity, unload those guys a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we had 2 managers running mid to high 90s for efficiency.
Yeah.
So I mean, that just wasn't going to work long term. So
what were they doing with the other 5% of their time?
Paperwork.
Probably not a lot of program development.
Yeah, paperwork and probably another 15 hours of paperwork off the clock.
Yeah. No, that's cool. How about Jeremy? How about you, buddy?
Yeah, no, I kind of the same type of thing. I mean, it was had gotten through going through orthopedic residency, and that was taxing in terms of like time wise. And then no, I mean, honestly, like obviously it was in the clinic with you, Nick, and I would agree with Casey, like where there were just opportunities, not necessarily as like straight up right away, like, hey, you are going to change your title, or you're going to do this or do that or the other thing, but just opportunities to lead in specific situations.
Yeah.
And I would agree so wholeheartedly with you, Casey, where it's just like, I think that's like something I've seen a shift to too, where it's like, well, I'm not going to do that if I don't have a raise. I'm not going to do this if I, and it's like that idea that that time or And a lot of times it's not even that much, is just an investment in the future. And like you said, even if it's not with that specific company in the future. And but no, I got done with my OCS, and it was kind of like what's next. Yeah, kind of a natural progression from there. So it was like kind of what I looked at was like the next challenge. Like I looked at like I like your viewpoint on it, Casey. Like, how do we positively affect the profession? And like for the residency, that was like, how do I challenge myself? But then, right, like the old like rising tide raises all boats. Like you realize that you're finite in terms of your skill set, and like how can now we elevate this to a clinic level to say like, hey, outcomes matter. Hey, what we're doing matters. So it's an interesting challenge.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool, when you talk about going from OCS and being like, what next, and I tell that too to people is like, man, keep yourself busy, because it is amazing. Like when you have the time and you just dedicate it to stuff, like you just get good at time management. And like there was a period when like I was managing and doing the CSMT and a lot of other stuff, and like then it all kind of like the managing stuff settled a little bit, the CSMT stuff went away, and I was like, I'm gonna take a break. Like I've been overloading myself, and like, man, you got a couple months in and it was like I gotta do something else, or I'm gonna get like too used to this stuff. I think just kind of motivating yourself all the time, and like, I mean, take time for yourself. I'm not saying you got to burn yourself to the ground, but we've always said that whatever sparks joy for you, whatever you find motivates you, whatever encourages you to keep going, like fill that time up with stuff. And that's been part of it too in my career, is just when you have that time, find growth opportunities, and you're going to get to a time in your life when all you have is time and nothing else to look back on. So
yeah, preach. How about you, Doeling? Fill us in, brother man.
Well, if I'm going to go back, mine was kind of driven out of necessity. Mine caught me a little bit sideways. I had been really just envisioning myself going the kind of clinical proficiency route, taking that approach and growth, and was just hungry. My first like 3 years, just so hungry for every bit of CE, and really knew I was going to do an OCS. I was not going to do the residency. I just knew that didn't fit my personal life. We already had a couple of kids by that point. So I was going to take some ulterior routes to do that. And then I was kind of caught sideways when my former direct boss, Jason, had left to go back to the Mayo. And that void needed to be filled. And I had a couple of folks reach out to me, ask me what my thoughts were. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I hadn't really thought that, but in a lot of ways, as I came to understand it, I've been kind of earmarked or noted as a guy that would probably be, a likely leader to take it over. So that was kind of how, in a way, I think I interviewed with like 2 or 3 other people for that role, 3. And I was selected to do that. And that's kind of how that whole transition happened.
Why do you think it was you?
Well, and it's an interesting thing. I think some people,
because it doesn't sound like that was like your driver, like,
no,
what do you think you were doing clinically that drew them to you?
I think we initially see people who can run a super high productivity for extended periods of time and say, okay, this person can at least manage their own
themselves.
Schedule.
Yeah, correct.
And I was able to manage that of a PTAs as well, kind of keep them loaded up. And I'd had 2 different assistants during that time, and both had been pretty successful. So I think there was some ability to kind of mentor and coach up others. And that was, I think, maybe why I was earmarked for it. That, and just, I think being present and not being a freaking idiot at different CE classes that I go to that were internal at the time, because it's what, you never know, but you're always representing yourself.
That was before we sat next to each other.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is before the dry needling course.
Then you get to the point where we're just total freaking idiots. People are like, how'd you guys ever become licensed? But
go. I'm in mustache mode now. I don't care. Do whatever I want.
And going back to something that Jeremy mentioned, it was kind of like it felt like a natural progression. I mean, when you go through athletics and school, there's always like some progression. There's always a what next, and then you get to a point in your life professionally where you're out there and you're kind of like in that grind. And I used to say it was like the 9-month period after you graduate as a therapist, because you spend so much of your time in school, and whether it's athletics, academia, both. But you've had these start stops, you've had progression, you've had growth, and it's just nonstop. And then you're out for like 9 months and you're like, whoa, this is very different to me. I haven't had a spring break. I don't have a big winter break. I don't have a summer break. I don't have a seasonal approach to what I'm doing here. There's no natural progression to me. Like there's no, like, I'm not going to graduate again from something.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. So I was kind of feeling that too, though. The other part of me, not only did I want to grow clinically, but the other part was like, okay, professionally, what else can I do? And what makes the most sense, and also just understanding what was going to take care of me and my family as well.
Yeah, I think you're always, like you said, like from a athletic standpoint, or even just again, like the school aspect, like you always feel like you're competing on some level, right? Like how do you, like how do I make that next team, or gosh, can I play up a level when I'm younger? It's like, well, in therapy, once you graduate, it's like that there's really only one route up, right? Like you're not like, I'm the second lieutenant staff, PT, it's like
Get the pin for your shoulder.
Yeah, I guess you could hang your hat on like outcomes or things like that, but it's just like it's a little bit of a different game, I guess. When you go like, all right, now I've been doing this for a year and I'm gonna do this for the next 40, and and now what, So you do it is like kind of that game. I think with what both you guys are saying, it's like how do you keep yourself engaged? How do you stay out of ruts? How do you continue to challenge yourself?
Yeah. And on that note, and after making that transition, did you guys run into any road bumps, any personal interactive challenges, stuff like that early on?
Yeah, I think there's always that that transition period. Like for me, I had only been practicing with the practice for just a hair over a year, where everybody else had been, I don't know, 6-7 years into the practice, some of them. So I think there was that play a little bit, like, well, who are you to tell us how to do? Because the clinic had been running before the partnership thing, so there was that us versus them mentality a little bit. So I kind of had to wade through that a little bit and what that looked like, because as a staff clinician, I had kind of been indoctrinated into that too. Like, we got to fight for everything we're doing up here because they're trying to change everything. So then, like, I felt like it was this, how do I fight for my staff and keep things going, when it should have never been that. I mean, it right, and things change, and like I've seen it now and I see those mistakes. But I remember early on, probably within the first month of being a manager, we had a therapist wanting to decrease hours down. She was already part-time but wanted to go more fixed term casual, like 2 days a week. And the two other managers, they decided that it would make more sense just to have her quit, or to just be completely done, because that would give us some more hours to look towards hiring full-time staff. And they wanted me to deliver that message to her. That was kind of my first, like, welcome to the company. Have this crucial conversation, which I had not read at that point. So yeah, it went really well. I mean, it was initially some hurt feelings and some not understanding, and again, some of that comes from like, well, why is it you delivering this message instead of maybe the other managers? And it's like, well, this is kind of I'm taking over. Niche. And like, yeah, I think
new sheriff in town.
Yeah, right. Big guns. They didn't want to be the bad guys. So got to be that a little bit, and that was a learning moment for me for sure. But it went well. And then And I think just as the time has gone on now, just learning not everybody can be happy with every decision, and you can't make the business run and make everybody happy all the time. I mean,
Be
sometimes
able
it
to
all
salvage
works out,
that professional relationship.
yeah, that person actually works for us, fixed term casual, all during the school year for us now.
Cool.
And gets,
Cool.
yeah, gets
Oh,
about
so you went
16.
back on your word.
Yeah, I didn't tell him that. I said your initial idea was great. You should do that for us. So, but we were able to hire somebody up and eventually grow enough to have her come back. Initially, it was kind of like Phil, like holiday coverage and things, but it just kind of developed into she had a long-term clientele that really enjoyed her. So she does a lot of that maintenance stuff with her dry needling. So it worked out well.
Okay.
And she's happy with 8 hours. She's happy with 16. She's happy with anything in between, and she manages her time well. So good employee that way.
Yeah.
It's rocking.
So
How
yeah,
about
it worked out
How
well.
about Jeremy? Do you have any crucial conversations?
Well, yeah, we kind of transitioned. We had kind of, I guess we'd say we purchased a practice, but it was like kind of the shell of what a practice had been. So it was like kind of barely.
If our
limping
listeners are really
along. So
interested, they can go into the archives and find this in episode 7.
Still our
They
most
can.
popular episode.
But we had no, we had to. I had to. I had to let an employee go. But I would even say like even more than that. Like I leaned on other people, but I would say even more than that. Like it's just I think it's really easy. Like I think I've alluded to this too. Like Nick, you shared a lot of different things. Like when I was a staff clinician about like how businesses are run and things like that. And I would say like even before I moved out here, I was like, oh yeah, I got this. Like I got this, right? Like you go like, holy smokes, like there was a whole lot of other stuff in there too.
Yeah, that's a whole other story going from staff clinician to owner. I took a little detour at just manager before I did the owner thing, but
it's easy to like, I don't know, it's easy to make that like kind of mistake to be just like, oh man, this is just gravy, this is so easy, like they're just sitting here and coasting off this all, like we work so hard and they don't have to do anything, and it's like a really big like run into a cement brick wall, and it's just like, holy smokes. It's like kind of like I'll say over and over again, I like never appreciated like my parents until I left the house, because you just don't know, right?
Yeah.
So you never appreciated Nick until you left him?
No, it's not like that. I mean, it's like sort of analogous where you're just like, you never appreciate what somebody goes through, like, right, until you got to walk a mile in it. And it's just like, once you get to that spot, I don't know if you experience that at all, Casey, but it's just like, once you get to that spot and you're like, wow, like the decisions that I make not only affect like my well-being, but they affect like the staff that I take responsibility for. And you always want to be, or at least I was like, I like when people like me, right? But it's not,
feels good,
right? You never have that complete harmony, I think, like where like you said, everyone's going to agree with every decision, or they understand why every decision is made. And so that's just one of those challenges that you just, unless you live it, you just aren't ever gonna fully understand, I don't think.
Yeah, for sure. And it can be maybe an offensive analogy, but it's like being parents to your kids too. Like, yeah, I love my kids and I love hanging out with them, but I still at times can't be just their friend, right? I mean, most people probably experience that, with their kids. So if they wonder what managing staff's like, it's similar, not in attitude way. My staff aren't children, but that same like separation though, where it's like, man, like this is going to be tough to do, and not everything I'm going to decide is going to make everybody happy. And sometimes I don't know if the decisions I make are the right decisions. I think that's a tough one too. Sometimes you got hard decisions to make and you got to live with them. I mean, staff can go somewhere else and move on. And
so what are the pieces that help guide you through decisions like that? What things do you come back to?
Right. Boy, that's a loaded question too. I think some of us, and I hate to say it, but there's some gut to that, right? I mean, you know what's right and what's wrong. And I think, and we'll talk about it too. I think that whole extreme ownership thing is big for me, like just really looking at myself and those decisions. And, I think that's at the end of the day, can I be happy with the decisions I made? And did I put enough thought into it? Do I make lists? Do I do like checklists and pluses and minuses? I guess I'm not that kind of guy where I'll do pro and con lists for everything, but I don't know. Well, what about you, Nick? What's your guiding principles? You read a lot more books on this stuff than I do. So
Yeah, a lot. And I love it actually. And you find a lot of similar a lot of similar elements, but I don't want to go too far down that way. And let's say that, we talked about book studies and stuff like that for this pod down the road. But, something that I learned early on, because I think when you come in, I'm not saying everybody, I don't want to paint too broadly, but you generally go like one of two approaches. You're either going to be like that new sheriff in town and really, buckle things down. And I'm going to be kind of prove that I can't be walked over. Right. Or you're like, I'm going to be super fun and I'm going to be everybody's buddy. And until I can't be anymore. And I kind of went with the latter. I had some big charismatic shoes to fill. Like Jason was a very likable guy. And everything went really well for, I'd say, like the first 2 months. And it was all really pretty smooth sailing. We had a resurgence, some really great positive things going on. And we started getting closer to summer, and I started getting more PTO requests. And I remember I'd actually have to, deny a couple of them that were like fourth requests, for the same day. And I remember vividly, I'd had a couple that Jason had denied when I was a staff clinician. So to me, I'm like, geez Louise, was I like the only person he ever denied PTO for? I mean, I remember him sitting me down one time being like, I'm sorry, I can't, we already got so-and-so out, another person out. We need a PT here, back when it was we really had to watch those ratios on assistants. And I'm like, okay, I get it. And I used to work jobs where like at Medicare, you were only, you weren't guaranteed time off. It's just maybe a different era. I think the sensibilities have changed too. But so as I'm like telling people, no, they're like, God, I remember one person just was like freaking on me and making all their personal life things my problems, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's all prove it this time. But, then I started learning different approaches that still weren't super successful, where you try to like, well, you go talk, these other 3 people all have requested the same day off. You want to go have a conversation with them and see if anybody wants to take theirs back, if they don't need it as much. Because they went, you find out people are like, well, I want to book this trip. We're going to go to Mexico. I can't refund it. I'm like, well, you probably should have checked the schedule before that, right?
Yeah.
And times, in their defense, though, times were different. You didn't have, your work computers at home. You didn't have all this stuff like super accessible. We didn't have Bamboo at the time, where I think you could find out if everybody else on the team is going to be out, as you put it in. I mean, just all these things that have evolved. But at the time, I remember that was a kind of a wake up call to me. And I'm like, okay, I'm already, this person was just like pissed at me for just really doing my job. And I'm like, it's hard not to get more and more jaded when incidents like that come up and become more current. That was one. And then I had going back to the new kid on the block being nice, friendly. I did know, like, as I even just transition, I knew Jason pretty well. He shared a lot of stuff with me. So I knew one of our athletic trainers was really struggling, a lot of interpersonal things. They had a pretty divisive personality that was always like loving to start friction, create rifts, stuff like that. And she had a couple of PSNs in her file and was really walking in a thin line. And when I take over, I remember I'm doing all these one-on-ones with people, and I get to her, and I'm like, you know what? This is a fresh start for you, fresh start for me. Let's, this will be fun. We'll make this work. So yeah, and then all those same issues just totally reared up again. The next few months. And I'm not going to go into all the details. I don't want to, disrespect her and not being able to defend herself or anything like that. But it just was not a good fit. Not a good fit for us, for the company, for her. Kind of couldn't get out of her own way in a lot of regards. So we had a big come to Jesus one day. she kind of flipped out, then calmed down, and then the next day resigned. So it was like, okay, it's, and
She did
actually
not
it was
come to Jesus.
no, it was a weight off the
She
shoulders.
ran.
moment.
She
So,
ran.
yeah, but going back, even
Like a
some
thief in the
some,
night, Jeremy.
some early books. So like Time to Lead was a book that was instrumental to me during that transition because it was one that was issued to us. But they talk about all these things in there, and you're kind of like, well, this isn't 100% true. And then a lot of it does play out like as that first year goes by. Like that whole transition, like we used to be buddies, we used to be tight, and then because I was elevated from within the same clinic, right? So the same thing you've experienced, Casey.
Yep.
At least for a short period of time, people are like,
You
you were my buddy I could bitch to about evil corporate.
Yep.
Now you're kind of sticking up for the man.
Yeah.
Corporate case.
You traded in that friendship for dollar signs.
Yeah, that's all it is.
I've paved paradise and put up a parking lot, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me charging for parking.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, but I was getting into like, I mean, there were some other, a lot of good resources out there. Jeremy knows I've been a Tony Robbins guy forever. And so much of his stuff is just pure leadership. It starts with yourself, and your conversations you have with yourself, how you internalize things, how you interpret them. So I'm still a fan of his. I think there's a lot of value to, understanding, NLP and stuff like that, how to get your mind right. So that helped me through a lot of the early phases, if I'm being honest. Next, anybody else?
No, I could go on for days. Like I've always been kind of like a nerd on that stuff. I'm like, I had a lot of people, even like through PT school, like they'd make fun of me for reading that. They'd be like, oh, you're reading a bunch of self-help, and it's just like, I don't know. I think personal development, I think leadership books, and like whether or not you are in a leadership position or not, they just help you, right? Like the old adage is leaders are readers, but I think it just like it speaks to like there's that constant personal development. I was a big John Maxwell guy right away. Like I think I probably have 15 or 16 of his books. John Gordon, Energy Bus, that's quick, easy read. Mark Batterson, Chase the Lion. Simon Sinek's good.
Yeah.
Love his stuff too. But like you said, like you read more and more books, and it's like you do see those like same principles kind of play out through different authors, but slightly different takes on it. Extreme ownership, like you said, like a little bit more of that kind of harder edge, more aggressive discipline type stuff.
I recommend either of those two. I recommend those two books for any new leader. I think it's great pairing, and I think you need to, because you cut crap. Like some of our young leaders that I know, they still struggle with that idea that like, hey, if I'm going to go,
I'm doing everything I could,
I'm doing everything I can, which is just a lie we tell ourselves. It just always is. And then when they come to me bitching about like the same person, it's like, man, that's who's to start with. Who's ultimately responsible? You are, and then that makes me responsible because I'm unless I'm holding you accountable to carry this out.
Don't make me responsible.
Don't make me responsible. I don't want any responsibility anymore.
Keep it.
AKA take care of it.
I hand it off to you guys.
It's like so much of it is like, because I don't know, man. I would say like, especially being an owner so early before COVID, man, there was like so much uncertainty, and there would be waves where it's like, let's get it closed tomorrow, and then there are days like, no, we're good, right? Like, and it's just like it is so much of a mental game, and how do you approach it? How do you maintain consistency? And I think, like when you have to make those tough decisions or tough calls or things like that, I think, right, like we use the term leadership capital, right, Nick? Like where do you spend it, right? And it's like, if you are leading by example, if you are that manager, not saying that you have to every week be running hot at like 96% productivity. But if you're willing to, stay an hour after to see a patient, if you're willing to move your lunch to see a patient, like I think those things go a long way with your team to say like, hey, this is like, this is the culture around here. Like service is number one. We'll, if it's a small inconvenience to ourselves and we can still take care of the patient, we'll do that,
Yeah.
And I think that helps out a lot instead of just being like, I'm in this ivory tower, do this, and then they see you doing the opposite. So
Yeah, I think a big leadership growth thing for me, because I was the kid making fun of Jeremy for reading books, but now I would find I love it now. Like you guys through what we've done have encouraged it, and I really do enjoy it because there is not just, like Jeremy said, not just leadership stuff, but it's probably helped my personal life out. I remember when we read Crucial Conversations, like how powerful that was for just even how my wife and I interact.
You have all the mind control now.
I've tricked her so many times
Invaluable.
using these simple tricks from this book. I hope
Come
she never
with me
pulls
to
it
the
off the
pool of
shelf.
shared
Why
meaning.
aren't you getting emotionally reactive with me, Casey? And you're like,
I said, Sonny, that this is a safe environment. We're all in a safe space. No, so but for me, like I think the biggest leadership growth thing was when we started doing leadership group regularly.
Yeah,
that was huge for me because, like you said, Jeremy, some days it's like I don't know how we're going to keep the doors open, or like this trend seems unsustainable. And then you get in these leadership groups with your peers, and it does twofold. It gets you on both ends. Like your worst days, somebody else has been there and they've gotten through it, right?
Yeah.
Like we turned it around, or we had that same problem. So that helps. That I'm not going to say full transparency, but you just don't know what you don't know. So to see other people that tell you, I've been through those struggles, I had months we didn't make money. I had a long time where, we were struggling to make money. Like that helps. But then the other end of the spectrum is just as powerful to be like, holy moly, this clinic, like these standards we set, they're blowing through them month after month after month. Like it's not unreasonable. I think that's a big part of it too, is to go, man, other people are doing this. Like, and it's not hard. It's not pulling teeth. It's not like you did it once, yay. It's, man, consistency, and that consistency is doable. So leadership, peer groups, if you guys can find peer groups, I think those are awesome.
Yeah. It's like in there are those things that, like, I don't know, like once you learn them, like you can't, like, I know I'm for sure I've told Nick this, but I'm just like, it's those little things that just stick with you, where like the extreme ownership stuff, like whose responsibility is that? And like it always comes down to the leader, right? And right, like you hear some of those things like, we're so busy, and it's like the immediate, my brain just jumps to like, well, what's busy, right? Oh, we're so, we're on fire. And it's like, okay, well, what does that mean objectively? Right. So it's like, it's good reminders, like on both sides of the spectrum, just like you said, like to hold yourself accountable, to be like, am I really as busy as I make myself think I am? Am I really doing everything that I can? Like, and then on the flip side, like you said, having that kind of sounding board to be like, hey, like clinics have been through this, we see trends, and it's not like an excuse, right? You don't want to live in that and be like, well, other clinics, are struggling too, so I'm fine, right? But it's just like, how do we work through that together?
But yeah, as a young leader, it's nice to hear that sometimes.
I agree.
Hey man, like I know you feel like you're burning it, and I know you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but people have been there, and it, if you nose to the grindstone, take that ownership.
Especially if they lift the nose of the boat up. If they've been able to do that.
Yeah.
But if it's just a bunch of, hey, pat you on the back and
you're doing good,
she says, oh, you'll be fine, you're doing fine. That's not valuable either. I think that I'd almost argue that's counterproductive. But it has to come with some merit and some substance, and a little bit of how to. Okay, well, yeah, we sucked too for a while.
Yeah,
it's how we got out of it.
Yeah,
there should be a but, right? Yeah, but.
And that's why, those leadership groups are nice, because I can come home and tell my wife, like, yeah, it's been a bad month or something, and she go, oh, you'll be fine, but yeah, to have a leadership peer group to go, this is how we got out of it, or a leadership peer group that goes, yeah, this isn't okay, like you do need to, or a manager or somebody. I mean, Nick, you've had those conversations with me, like some stuff's okay to just correct, and some stuff is like, no, that's not all right, we got to do this now, so having a good leadership above you too, if you're not on an island, which some owners here and managers will be. But
no, I think our level of kind of transparency and vulnerability as a group has greatly improved, and it wasn't always there, it wasn't always that way, and I think that creates challenges too. So like and Jeremy kind of alluded to this a little bit ago in his own way, but the single biggest advice I honestly could give anybody when they're early on that first year, don't get too high and don't get too low, right? It's kind of what you were talking about when you said how you interpret busy and how you say, oh, we're on fire, that place is on fire, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But don't get too emotionally invested early on, because then you're just constantly, your pendulum swinging back and forth. Just try to be as steady as you can, process it, and find out what's working and what's not, and ride those things, make the adjustments.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's hard. It's really hard to do. And it becomes even more when you have some skin in the game, when you have invested personal resources, money in there, and a livelihood is involved. So it becomes even more challenging to be the steady Eddie.
Yeah. And the last thing I learned is, because of that, no one's going to care as much as you do. Right? Like no one's going to have that same level of investment in your staff. So
that's like my own thing. I don't know. That just came up to me sometime, but it's kind of dawned on me at one point. And it's like, and it gets to what Jeremy's talking about, is like that fleeting battle. Try to get other people on your team, those under you, to, kind of appreciate the necessity behind those goals and how important it is. But at the end of the day, no one's ever going to care as much as you will. That's probably the right place to be.
Yeah. And that's, I think for me too, that was a hard lesson to learn when I was very open. Like I said, anything my bosses said, hey, I need help with this, can you do? Oh yeah, 100%. Not everybody has that same feeling. That's okay, right? It doesn't make you a bad employee. It doesn't make you like you don't want to be part of the team. People's priorities are just different, and people's lives are different. It's just like your patients too. Like I've learned to understand that a little better and not get frustrated when I ask somebody to do something and they give you that look like, I mean, I'll say yes if you really want me to, like, and that's okay. Like, it's all right if not everybody wants to own the clinic and run the clinic, and some people want to show up and do their thing and spend their time in other areas. It's okay. Don't take offense to that. So
dang right, it's okay, because it's like you also see the flip side of that coin when you have too many like different owners of various capacities. Too many cooks in the old kitchen.
Oh, geez.
Trying to make some amazing burgers.
You think they come on with the top 5 or? Huh?
Yeah. It's gonna be a nice little soft segue there.
That was a great segue. I liked it. Let's make it a hard segue.
That's where we get into these committee groups, and it's like so onerous at times because everybody feels they need to have a say, right? And they're used to being the leader in their own right, and it's like, oh man, you got to please way too many masters. And
you can't.
But when there's too many cooks in the kitchen, your burger recipe is going to be trash.
Your burger gets burnt.
It's not 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
You get 20 different recipes all trying to fight for dominance.
Is it a mushroom and Swiss? Is it a bacon? Has it got peanut butter on it? Eggs? Who knows? It's got it all, and it tastes like garbage.
Whoa.
Maybe that was too harsh. I'm sorry.
I think this top 5
doesn't all
taste like garbage.
Tastes pretty dang good.
Who wants to kick this sucker off? The greatest burger you've ever enjoyed, you're eating.
I would like to kick it off because I feel like I might have the weakest list.
Casey, no, just before you speak,
Okay.
beyond meat is not allowed on this.
No,
on this
it has to be
podcast.
beef.
Whoa!
beef
I
or
just made a
bison.
nice Beyond Beef burgers.
No
for
Impossible
myself.
Whoppers out here.
All right, I do have one on the list that might not be a burger. So,
Okay.
so I might as well go
No.
first because it is my number 5. Nope, it's my number 4, but we'll get to it. Anyways, yeah, I'd like to go because I got to say I'm not like a huge burger guy. I mentioned this off air. Like I love a burger. I'll cook a burger. I'll eat a burger. It's great. But like sampling burgers, like if I go to a restaurant, that's probably like one of the last things I want to order. Like I'm more of a let's see what your specialty sandwich is. You got a Reuben, you got a buffalo chicken, you got steak.
Well, I can eat a Reuben too, Casey.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Say, man,
Philly
that's something
cheese.
special. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What's this number 5?
So my number 5, I gotta go traditional. We talked about it already, man. It's the Big Mac. There is a special place
What?
in my heart for a Big Mac. Nick, it's a classic. It's like America's number 1 burger. It's sold a billion Big Macs in the world. So
I got it. Full disclosure. I think I said this, Jeremy. Did I say this last week? I have never eaten a Big Mac in my entire
You
life.
didn't say. I don't think you said that.
yeah,
That was when my daughter ordered.
stop the pod. Holy moly. And you're
Never in my
calling me
life.
out and you've never had a Big Mac.
They're not.
There's
That's
something
never
about
done.
that
You're talking about
combination of lettuce that's like from the floor because it's all shredded up. It's low quality lettuce. The special sauce, which is just like all the old sauces mixed together before they go bad.
Yeah.
The diced up pickles, the middle bun, which serves no purpose. Like the whole thing is redundant and shouldn't taste good, but you smash
But
it
it
together
does.
and it
But
is
it does.
America's burger.
All
Holy
right,
moly.
all right.
There are
I ain't
times.
gonna shit all over your list, but
Oh, go ahead. Shit away.
no, I'm not.
Now, I will say, like, the meat's poor quality, right? I mean, it's flavorless. But it's just the combination and the feels. It gets you in the feels. We talked about that. McDonald's is, man, everybody loves McDonald's. There's just something about it.
Something about it.
Full just
All right.
nostalgia at number 5, the Big Mac.
Number 5, the Big Mac. J-Bone, you want me to go next? And
Yeah, go for it.
I'll be in the middle of the sandwich this time.
Oh, the burger, huh?
Mine goes back, and I think I got this right. I actually have years on these, so you guys will laugh. 1997 in Kansas City for the National FFA convention. There was a food truck outside of Kemper Arena, and it was Stubbs. I remember it was Stubbs. And Joel Lemur, shout out. I think he's retired a long time now, but our FFA advisor. He knew all about it. Is like a long
Big
time
fan of the
staple.
show.
And my goodness, I didn't
Like and
know.
subscribe.
I didn't know how much I could love grease until I ate this burger. And it was like just a simple like bacon cheeseburger, but done so damn well. And I remember like you open it up, it's just a simple like paper wrap and all that, but it's already greasy. You can see through. It's translucent. And you take that bite and you're like, I had no idea a bun could absorb this much grease and just be a sponge for deliciousness.
Yeah.
But it did.
And that was so big shout out if it still exists, Stubbs Food Truck in Kansas City, Missouri.
So when you went on stage to get a national office in the FFA, you just pooped everywhere, and that ended your FFA career.
Might have just disemboweled myself.
You're like, never mind. I'm gonna go to PT school. Agriculture's over.
Guys with burger lists like me, Case, we don't poop ourselves.
All right. I
right.
used to be you when I had a gallbladder.
Oh, sad story.
Yeah.
How you don't produce bile.
Yep,
On to
and
Jeremy.
That burger comes out like it went in.
Oh,
That's why you didn't like this list. But
Jeremy, if you say
you know-
fast food place, I'm stabbing you in the jaw.
no,
All
You know
I have
what?
is fast food places, Nick.
I'm gonna shout out the gnarly heifer. This was a recency bias. Nick and I and his family went to the gnarly heifer. This is where we found out that McDonald's is so much better.
Can't
Just one of my
argue.
kids. Only
Have
one
you
of my
had
kids.
a Big Mac?
I had the Rowdy Rancher there. So
Okay.
it's a double bacon cheeseburger with a potato patty and a fried egg.
A potato,
they're-
like a hash browns?
It's a hash brown.
Yeah. Well, like a McDonald's hash
Yeah,
brown.
like a McDonald's delicious
Not real
McDonald's
hash browns.
hash brown. Yeah.
He's like, ooh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Yeah, you sold me. Is there a middle
Do you
bun?
think do you think McDonald's can make a gnarly heifer style burger?
Oh, they
Maybe.
can make anything for you.
No.
But you know what? That was a good burger. They had I like a little bit of pizzazz on my burger. Like, so I'm not afraid of having a fried egg. It was good. It was again, recency bias in play.
Yep.
But no, that's my number 5. The gnarly heifer.
How was the egg? Or how was the runniness of the egg? That's always my concern with the fried egg. Is it's going to make a
it had some
damn
runny.
mess.
Yeah, it had some runny.
Not everybody loves grease, Nick. Okay, so it was
This
like
was just a yolk. It wasn't grease. It was just
well, yeah, I get it. So when you were done with the burger, how much egg was on the plate?
none.
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
part of the
How
clean
much?
plate club.
Oh, look at clean. All right. Well,
All
let's
right.
move on to number 4.
Move on to your Impossible Whopper.
Yeah, maybe not a burger. Because again, you'll see pretty much a trend on here. Like, I don't go to restaurants
Is
for
this
straight
for real?
burgers. Well, it's semi. I hate
You're
this
approaching
restaurant.
Jeremy levels of when he's entering like
It's
horror
time.
movie
You know
This
what?
is
It's
my horror
time
movie list.
somebody else took over the last list position. So I hate
Now I know
I
what
hate
it
this
feels like.
restaurant. I never eat there, but if I do, it's the only thing on the menu I like. Besides
Okay.
their teas, 2-for-1ers, it would be Applebee's quesadilla burger. Yep.
Oh,
So questionable if it's a burger because it's not between 2 pieces of bread.
it's
but
in
it
their
has
burger list though,
burger
so
in the
you're
name.
fine.
Okay, good. Whew, I was concerned. Yeah, it's like what you would imagine a quesadilla, but it's a hamburger patty, cheese, Mexican sauce, pico de gallo, salsa, guac, all slammed into a tortilla and pressed down. I love it. It's a ton of cheese flavor. It's got a little Mexican flavor to it, and it's a nice clean burger. As Jeremy just talked about, clean plate club. I don't have to lick the plate clean because like nothing falls out of the quesadilla. So that's my number 4, Applebee's.
All right.
Quesadilla.
Well known.
Quesadilla burger.
Quesadilla
All
burger.
right, I'll jump right into my number 4, which has already been said here, and it's not a Big Mac. It is
Damn it.
also the Rowdy Rancher from the Gnarly Heifer. Big shout out, Whitehall. When Jeremy ordered that sucker, I was like reading, like as he was asking for it to the waiter, I'm reading the menu and I'm like, oh, this is just too good. So everything he said, the egg was done perfect. It was added just some unctuousness to it, added that flavor, but wasn't total mess. It wasn't all over my face. Freaking awesome. Was it rowdy sauce, was gnarly sauce, right?
Gnarly sauce. Yep.
That added a punch to it. Everything was just spot on. And the way they do the burgers is like smash burger style. So added a
Good burger,
sweet
not on my list.
crunch to it, sweet greasy crunch. So that was the recency bias of last week.
Man,
was
it
good.
sounds like a good burger. They have one location.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think they're just
So if
locally
you're
owned, right?
listening, tough shit. You'll never eat this burger.
We got to pump up our Michigan.
Well, that's true. I guess I
listener.
shouldn't judge.
All right, J-Bone, number 4.
All right. My number 4 is the Juicy Lucy from Matt's in Minneapolis.
World famous.
You know,
Definitely.
it's pretty no frills though, right? Like, it's just burn your face off hot cheese inside the patty.
Yeah, that is lava in that thing.
Gotta
I
be
don't
smart.
remember. We went to it before a Twins game, and luckily, not a huge line. It was like not that long after the DDD, I don't think. No, it was a great burger. It's about all I have to say. I don't know who the other claim to fame.
5-8 Club.
5-8 Club. Yeah.
But there's
Matt's just hole in the wall. I mean, that was good.
Yep.
That was good.
Yeah, for real. My top 3, if I'm gonna spoil it, were all from Triple D. All things that I was able to see on Triple D and then eat later. But I have not, any of mine is not the 5-8 Club or Matt's. I was never able to get in.
Do it.
You guys ever make your own at home? Just
Yeah,
jam them in?
It doesn't ever taste as good.
You know what you gotta? We found out you gotta mix, like you basically turn it into like a meatloaf in a way. Like you gotta use an egg for a binder, a little bit of breadcrumb to help just hold it all together. Because if you don't do that, the cheese will seep through your burger as it's cooking.
Makes sense. Yeah,
That
my
helps it
buddy
be as minor.
bought like the plastic kit to like make multiple patties and mash them together and fit stuff inside.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
don't
whole
have to
thing
do
as seen on TV. So we used
Yeah.
to like we used to make all sorts of burgers, like pizza
Yeah.
burger, anything you could, any combo. We would mash that thing inside of a burger and grill it. Most
I
of them
would've-
sucked.
But
Yeah.
but Big Mac still made it on your list.
Oh, 100%. Was way better than anything we made there.
I made you a burger better than McDonald's.
Yeah. Ew.
Green
All
pepper
right.
Wonder Bread burger.
All right, number
Going to three.
The list here I'm trying to read. Another chain restaurant. My number 3 on the list. This burger is no longer in existence, I believe. You could correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, that's
but my
exciting.
research would lead me to believe this restaurant has quit making and has not brought it back. It would be Friday's cheesy bacon cheeseburger. Now here's the deal.
Okay.
Nick, we talked
Yeah.
about this. Can a sandwich be too cheesy? I said no. You said yes.
No.
This sucker. So it was a.
I take that back. I don't think it can be too cheesy. I'm changing my vote.
Okay, so this thing had a hamburger patty, and on top of the hamburger patty, they had a patty of equal size fried mozzarella, like a cheese stick.
Oh, okay. I think I remember seeing that.
Topped on top of that was more Kobe cheese melted on top of the fried mozzarella.
Let's go.
And then you had bacon, lettuce, tomatoes. So it was like a cheese stick patty on top of a normal burger patty covered in
The
cheese.
deep dish pizza of burgers.
Yeah. Then you order a nice side of queso to dip it in. It was a great sandwich. Yeah. That thing was the only reason I ever went to Fridays.
And they don't make it anymore, huh?
They used to make
Nope.
teas. That's the second place with teas.
Yeah, you see a theme. You drink enough beer or drink enough teas and I'll order a burger. I got to do something to absorb it. These were all eaten pre gallbladder removal. So again,
Bless your soul.
handle it. Yep. R.I.P. gallbladder. Miss you, boy. So yeah, that's my number 3.
All right.
Fridays.
R.I.P. Fridays too.
And,
right?
and again,
Are they out of
Fridays
business?
in town. Yeah, I don't know if there's anywhere.
I think they're still around.
I think they've really consolidated, like shrunk down big time.
You can buy potato skins in Walmart.
So
Yes, you
similar
can.
to the Horny Heifer or whatever that place is called.
The
If you want this burger-
Narman.
If you want this burger, tough because it doesn't
Be
exist anymore.
respectful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Fridays.
I had it like
Yeah,
half, right?
come on. Fridays and Big Macs. All right. Moving on.
And Applebee's.
Kicking off my first of my Triple D road trip is from 2011. We made a stop in St. Paul to the Blue Door Pub, and I got to feast on the juicy Bluesy, which is a stuffed burger with blue cheese and garlic. Talk about a flavor punch to the mouth. And yeah, that's about all I can say.
Okay, yeah.
Place is super tiny,
setup.
like just about like you said with Matt's. And I didn't get in the first time. The line, or when me and a couple buddies showed up to hit it up, it was the line was crazy. The building's super tiny. Sounds like looks like a residential area. People way out the door. So we checked in. They're like, yeah, it's gonna be at least an hour wait. We're like, we're all hungry. We're gonna go somewhere else and just rain check this. So I finally got to experience it. Like a year later, I went with Michelle, and we hit the cities like kind of midday on Thursday, and it was awesome. Highly recommend it if you're ever around that area.
Yeah.
Anybody ever going up there? The Juicy Belusi from the Blue
Belusi.
Pub.
Belusi. So, and just to clarify, I'm not a big Food Network guy. When you guys say Triple D, you're talking about diners.
Guy Fieri, baby.
DDD.
Diners Drive.
I was just confirming. I'm not a fan, so I didn't know that's what the
Huge
cool kids
fan.
called it.
Huge fan.
Whatever.
Triple D.
D. That's what
Yep.
you refer to.
He was in Fargo. He was in Fargo. The newest
Mhm.
episode.
I've eaten there everywhere he went, but I was cool. I ate there before he went there. but no big deal.
You're so
You guys
cool.
got your own
You're
thing.
such a hipster.
I got
Guys,
it.
my
You need
number
to turn that
3.
beard into a handlebar mustache.
You should.
Was it left?
Do
Okay.
it.
I think you're
Okay.
getting a building named after you for sure, bro. This burger, I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah, there's a knife through it. And
Yeah.
Some
I
cheeses.
ate this. I had to look it up. I don't know what it was called. I ate this on March 4th of 2017
Oh, you guys and your
at
dates.
the Roadhouse in Wabasso.
Oh, okay. Roadhouse. Yeah.
This is a triple cheeseburger, bacon, fried egg, 2
Another fried
pieces
egg.
of ham, and a chicken fried steak.
A chicken fried steak on
Whoa.
it. That's the killer, bro.
Hard to say that's a
Oh.
burger at that point. That's just
Yeah,
breakfast.
oh, it's definitely still a burger.
So going to Wabasso.
I'm like, I looked it up. I could not find the name of it because they're like, this bar has like a ton of like roll-ins. They're big motorcycle kind of vibe. But so everything's named after. I went on their Facebook and I'm like, everything's named after motorcycles. I could not find this burger, but
You think it was a
that was the
dream?
real deal.
I ate there a couple years ago too, and I did not try that. I wish I would have known because I love chicken fried steak. They put the
Why not?
country gravy on it.
No, there was no gravy on this burger.
Oh, that ruins it for me.
That sounds
There was
amazing.
Special sauce, maybe?
Well, yeah. I suppose if
Jeremy
you
and I are the
mashed it all together.
connoisseurs of the burger world.
Yeah, who knew? Who knew?
All right.
It's here eating my Reuben.
That's not a burger, bro.
I
don't
know.
have a
I've
French
had a
dip.
Reuben burger before.
Come on, tell us about your
Okay.
Sonic drive-in.
Oh no, this is
Have you ever heard of an angry Whopper?
an angry Whopper. No, is that like spicy sauce on there? I'll take it.
right, number
Yeah,
2.
my first non-chain restaurant on the list.
Really?
My only.
Congrats.
It is. Yeah, I've had a burger or two.
Ooh,
It is
he furrowed his brow for that. I've had
from a little
I've had a
restaurant
burger.
out in West Fargo. That's how
Okay.
far I get out to try my burgers.
All right.
The place is called Three Lions, and the burger is called the Burt. So it's classic burger, bacon, and blue cheese. Ton of blue cheese,
Ooh,
flavor explosion. They do like the melted cheddar bun. So it's got like the cheddar cheese melted on top, and yeah, it's a great burger. I love the blue cheese bacon combo. It's, I mean, the blue cheese just kind
Blue
of
cheese
covers
is
the
awesome.
taste of everything
Oh,
else. I
man,
guess
That's a
on it, but-
shocker. You just dropped the flavor bomb of the
Yeah.
list there.
When I'm in West Fargo,
Yeah, if I
Proud
make
of
it
you.
all the
Check
way
out.
out there and
Proud
there's
of you.
not any other restaurant I want to go to, yeah, I'll stop in and get a Burt. It's
I'm gonna
delicious.
text Guy Fieri right now. Have him
Yeah,
go.
he wasn't there. He wasn't there. You should try it. It's good.
When he's
They
not
make a
hanging
mean
out with
burger
Sammy
there.
Hagar, he's gonna go to West Fargo.
I have the Santo. They could come sign it. That'd be nice.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's
big
a
ball.
tasty
So
that was
burger. They have because it's like an English pub, so they give you gravy with your fries, which is nice, like a nice
I like that.
thick brown gravy on a beer battered fry.
That's a
you
nice
can
touch.
get corned beef slider or corned beef egg rolls, which are really good, which is like a
yeah.
Reuben and an egg roll. That's a great restaurant. If you've never been, give it a jingle.
All right, next time I'm up there, we're gonna go.
Fargo.
That was
Thursday,
Bert.
I'll
That was
order
Three
it in.
Lions.
Yeah, Three Lions. Lyons,
Get that
not
burger.
lions. Yeah.
Arr. All right. Good number 2, Casey.
Yeah,
Congrats.
giant picture of Winston Churchill in there. Cool little restaurant.
Oh,
So this is funny and kind of ironic we're on this list because I'm just realizing at this moment Jeremy's experienced 2 of these burgers with me. So my
Oh.
number
2
2
of them?
is
Okay.
from 2014, Kuma's Corner in Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
I had the Pantera burger, which is producing on my own, covered in house-made ranchero sauce, cheddar, Monterey Jack, bacon, roasted poblano peppers, and tortilla strips. Named after the amazing Texas thrash swing band Pantera. Amazing. It was on a pretzel bun. God, it was good. Something else that we'd seen on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and I didn't have a clue what I was. Yeah, triple D. Wasn't sure exactly which one I was going to go with. I was kind of looking at the Slayer burger, which is a chili cheeseburger.
So everything there is named after metal bands.
Correct. Yes.
What was on it? You remember what was on the screen?
American Psycho.
Yeah.
Playing on loop.
And I'm pretty sure we heard somebody get shot when we walked out of the restaurant.
Probably.
Not in the
Heard
movie.
gunshots.
That was
Real
our cabbie. This was pre-Uber, so there's no Ubers, but our cabbie probably shot somebody. But just for you, Casey, I'm going to rattle through a couple of these burger names real quick.
Okay. I
Got the Black Sabbath, the Goat Snake, Iron Maiden, the Kaiju, Lair, the Minotaur, Led Zeppelin, Mastodon, Metallica, Neurosis, Slayer, Pantera.
Okay. They had a couple deep dives on that list even.
God, it is awesome. Such an awesome place. I would encourage.
That's a cool vibe. I mean, it was like, that was like definitely when you think hole in the wall. Like, and I had to produce the burger. I got there too. Spoiler alert.
Oh, okay.
But man, they're up to 6 locations now.
Are they?
What?
Yeah.
They got that triple D rub, y'all.
Yeah. I think they only had 2 when we were there. So
did they?
Good for them.
We went to the original. We went downtown.
Yeah.
So it's not like a metal motif though. It wasn't like a Planet Hollywood in there. It was just like a restaurant.
Not that I recall.
It was
just
pretty
kinda
dark
like a
though.
normal
I mean,
pub
yeah.
with
But
American.
I think they had like some posters or stuff like that up here and there, maybe some frame things. But yeah. And then like Jeremy said,
almost a decade ago. That's a little rusty for me.
Yeah. And their TV was playing American Psycho on loop. So kind of a deeper film maybe processing while you're mowing on a burger. But
yeah, there's some.
Set the ambiance.
Was it like unedited version?
it was like somebody's DVD. They slapped it. Yeah.
That is hard to eat through some of that.
Yeah. I can. I got a tough stomach, as I noted. I still have my gallbladder. As of now.
Lucky.
I got the Beyond Burger there.
Yeah. That was the winger.
The winger special. Yeah. That's it. All right, J-Bone, what's your number 2?
So my number 2 is a local burger here too. It doesn't have a good name, but it was a double half-pound bacon cheeseburger, and the buns were 2 giant Texas toast grilled cheese sandwiches.
Ooh, I'm in.
So it's a double half pound, so it's a pound of meat.
Yeah. Well, but then plus these giant grilled cheeses.
That is a lot.
I only ate half of it. It's Lake House Grill in Muskegon. Nice little spot. Last time we were in there, they did not make it anymore. But just like you have like these gourmet like grilled cheese, like 5 cheese grilled cheese.
Yeah. Michelle has made that before. She didn't try to duplicate stuff like that we see on TV.
Oh, it's good. It was good. So that's all I got to say.
No bacon in the grilled cheese.
No, it was just in between
Missed
the
opportunity.
half-pound patties. Yeah, I would agree.
I think it still sounds pretty rad.
If you're gonna go on a sandwich like that, you go all out.
All right, which takes you to your number 1.
It takes me to my
Marty's
number 1.
Monster Burger.
Oh man, I
Or
tell
if
you,
you're
dude,
on the
like
West
a
Coast, you might
Frisco
call it
burger.
Carl's Jr.
Yeah,
Double.
a Frisco burger is good. I'm a little disappointed that's not on my list. No, my number 1, and it's kind of a cop out because it's a really popular burger in Fargo and popular for a reason, right? It's classic Humpty Dumpty from JL Burgers. Simple patty, simple fried egg, a little bit of bread. Their buns are delicious.
Fried egg. Listen to him.
Tell me about the consistency of this fried egg.
It's so good. Like you don't have it in your beard. That's number 1. Like if you got yolk all over your beard, it's too yolky. That's not.
Were you swerving us earlier?
Well, I just wanted to get your take on it before I talked about mine. Like
you seem pretty anti-egg earlier.
Oh no, not anti-egg at all. If there's an egg on a burger, I'm having it. I mean,
in the pro wrestling world, they call this a swerve, bro.
Yeah, this was a swerve. Maybe I set you guys up. But I'm like
it's okay. It's been a fun
breakfast sandwich guy, so I'm doing eggs and sausage all day long. Not a big leap to do an egg in a burger. But yeah, Jail Beers is just they came on the scene when they opened in town and they were super popular and grew.
They won in Sioux Falls too, don't they? Down by Shields.
Yeah, there's quite a few
burgers.
locations now. A couple in North Dakota. I mean, they have 3 in Fargo at least. So yeah, it's just a good burger. It's quick. You know, you get
And
your
this is
burger in
the
like 3 minutes.
This is the best burger you can get in Fargo Moorhead.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's better
I
than
think
that
so.
3 Lion monster you were just talking.
I gotta say, when I'm done, I'm satisfied with this. It's a good size. It's just the meat tastes good. It's fresh meat. I don't know, it's simple, man. That's my favorite
Oh,
burger.
that's cute, Casey.
It's
That's great.
Listen, like I will get a 3 Lions burger if I'm in West Fargo and I'm not going anywhere else, but I'll go to JL Beers to order this burger.
Okay,
All right.
I'll take that.
All right. You know,
Probably
I
the
can live with that.
only burger I can think of where I'm like, I want a burger. I'm gonna go to jails and order it.
well, you know, I'm not, and I'm giving you a hard time right now, but God, you talk to anybody who's been out to like especially the West Coast, all they talk about is In-N-Out.
Mhm. Right.
Like apparently it's like the greatest thing ever. Once you've had it, you just crave it.
Yeah,
Probably makes some
I've
big
had it
chemicals.
multiple times when I lived in Arizona. I can't say. I mean, I went
think
back a few times because I was like, maybe I just got a bad one. But
Mhm. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good burger. I'm not going to
Yeah.
crap on it, but to be
Average.
like, oh my God, it's like the best thing. Yeah. Well, my
That's
number
number
one, from a little little gal called Wendy's. No,
yes,
kidding.
Baconator. Baconator's solid too, guys.
No.
I don't know why
Nope.
you guys are just highfalutin. You're on your towers, your
High-
burger towers.
Well, I think burgers can be, it's such a spectrum, right? You can get your crappy burger, you can get, which some of the worst I've ever had were homemade ones. And like my dad
Burn
would
it
make them
black.
overcooked. Yeah, my
That's
dad was
the
constantly
nickname I
well
gave you.
done, and it was like, but man, when you go, and I'll eat a fast food burger on occasion, pretty rare. But man, when it's done really, really well, and it's a place, it's like a whole like locally owned place that's only known for burgers.
I might
You
do
know
it
they're
over
doing it.
steak. I might
Yeah,
even
same
someday.
here. Same here.
Yeah.
Like, so my number one
Crazy.
is also a Juicy Lucy, but they call it the Juicy Nookie in Casper and Runyon's Nook. It's right across from Cretan Durham Hall, which I think is technically in
Joe
St.
Mauer's high school.
Yep, Joe Mauer, Matt Burke.
A bunch of cake
It's
eaters over there.
Awesome. You talk about a hole in the wall place. It's been on Triple D twice because
Double.
we went to it in 2007. And then somewhere along the line, it actually had a fire, burned down. They rebuilt it. But place is amazing. Like everything Jeremy is saying about stuffed burgers, you got to be careful. You got to be patient.
Yeah.
Cool down a little bit because it
Burn your
you know,
face
it's worth it. But it's amazing. For my money, as far as the ultimate best tasting burger I've ever had in my life, it was the Juicy Nookie, Casper and Runyon's. Shout.
Got me sold. Sounds
I
good.
like it.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Probably won't. Probably go somewhere and have grown up
You
food,
know,
but
I'm more of a seafood guy. I
yeah,
don't like
I'll
John
go eat an
Silver's.
adult meal somewhere when I'm in town. But
Wow. Come on.
maybe my kids would like it. I don't know.
What are your PF Changs?
My
Not bad food.
blooming onion.
You couldn't sit back. Well, that's not bad either.
The top
All
5
right,
Chinese
Jeremy.
places.
My number one was also Kuma's.
Yeah.
In there, I had the Plague Bringer, crushed garlic, house-made hot sauce,
Mm.
pepper jack, jalapenos, tortilla strips, roasted garlic mayo, and red onion.
That sounds
Oof.
good. That sounds better than my Pantera burger.
And my
That's
gallbladder
good.
just cried up in its grave. Started rolling.
Oh, like it.
So-
That was a cool spot. Like definitely like first time to the big city. You know, like that is kind of like a fun deal when you're like going to Chicago and being like you think of those places like the Chicago hot dog or
Yeah.
New York City pizza and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Institutions,
Those
right?
hole in the wall spots are like pretty neat, and where it's just like that's their niche. That's what they do, and Kuma's does it well. It's a good burger.
They do. That was awesome. We
do
did
the
it right
best.
that weekend too. We hit up Kuma's, we hit up Giordano's, got some deep dish. We hit up,
I think I gained some weight that weekend.
oh my gosh, yeah. And then we hit up because we hit up Gene and Jude's to get like what was considered like the best hot dog in America for like the 2000s.
Sweet.
I mean, all these places we'll name drop and we recommend it, right? But then I remember how I wanted to I was big into I need a hot Italian beef. sandwich if I'm in Chicago. So I'm already bloated, fat as hell.
Yeah,
It's like our last
somebody
night there.
give this man a hot Italian beef.
And it's like, we gotta find. So we found this amazing place, and they serve it up with like a Polish out of bun, and then just cover it in like seasoned beef, and then jardinere, and oh my
It's good.
God, everything's good. Soak the bun and all the jus. It was great.
That sounds much better than a burger, but
Nope.
each their own.
I don't know if I put it that, but good stuff, boys.
The hot dog definitely wasn't as good as the burgers, but
No, I don't think.
Is it like a Chicago?
That was
Is
like-
it a Chicago dog?
it was
Yeah,
like
but then they
them that way.
stuff fries
brown
on it.
paper sack, like cut the fries right in front of you, and like
Yeah.
there was like grease dripping out of the, like you see like cop dramas in like New York City and
Yeah.
Chicago. And we're like, yeah, here's the dogs.
Yeah.
Who's got the double dog?
Maybe, I don't know. But
Yeah,
it's like
accept that.
literally
Dog.
dripping out of the bag. It was just like,
Yep.
that's real.
Yep. And I don't know if Gene, like the
Hot
dogs,
Italian beef.
it was Chicago style dog. Then they take a handful of those hand cut fries and smash it on top there, roll it up tight.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
almost eat it like a burrito.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to sit. You got to take it outside and eat it in the parking lot.
Well, we went at like 4, if my memory serves. It was like 3 or 4 in the afternoon on a
On
Sunday.
a Sunday. Yep.
And it
was
was
packed.
just packed. Like this is
Really?
this like old 50 style diner. And there were freaking 100 people in there. Like
And
Yeah.
really, all they do is hot
just
dogs.
in
That's
a
like
in
their
a
jam.
giant
Hot dogs and
like
fries.
in a giant tornado of people waiting in line.
And
a
don't
vortex.
don't you dare ask them for ketchup.
No. We'll put that on our dogs.
They'll boo you the hell right out of there, Hanson.
Yeah.
They don't want none of your guff.
Yeah,
No.
that's such garbage. Like, enjoy your food how you want to. I don't like this.
Oh,
I've moved
like-
on from this place. I'm never gonna have a hot dog there.
All right.
I don't need ketchup on a hot dog. It's the principle. If you want to have
Don't
ketchup
be
on your
you.
hot dog,
Then don't go there. Don't. You'll miss out. Fine.
ridiculous.
Well, maybe next time we can do favorite sandwiches so you can feel,
Well, we'll come back to food. We'll figure something out. I mean, I eat a lot of
We'll
food.
circle
I mean,
back.
I have
We
a
still got
body
chips to
of a
cover.
man that eats food. I mean,
I feel like you know how I feel during horror movie countdowns now.
that was terrible. Every number was a dread.
Oh.
When Nick shit on the Big Mac right away, I said, "This is gonna be a
Oh,
long,
son of a
long."
gun.
Do you guys remember Fuddruckers?
You know what? They're good
I do.
burgers. The burgers are- I don't
You're
know.
in my honorable
Again, it's a
mention?
spectrum. Fuddruckers like a 6 out of 10, maybe.
Oh man, I feel like my scale, like my burger scale, is like a 0 to 3.
Oh.
Like, well,
See, now
that's-
you're poo-pooing on.
There was a
I'm not
long
poo-pooing
time,
on them. I'm just saying, like, there's a
Sounds like
lot of
smells like-
threes, a lot of twos, a lot of ones. Like,
there was a
that
very
was
long time where I
short
would have taken
spectrum.
a hamburger over a steak.
Mm,
Not anymore, probably,
yeah.
but a
Not
good
if it's a
hamburger
really-
is good steak.
See,
though,
for
too.
me, a good hamburger is not far off from an average hamburger. If I'm gonna be honest,
Oh, bullshit.
like
You just got
a
haven't had
jail's
enough good
Humpty
ones.
Dumpty, not far from a Big Mac. If I'm
All right,
being honest,
we
like,
gotta hit up a road trip sometime.
I would just frustrate you.
We're
'cause
only
I would,
eating burgers.
I would eat it and I'd be like, yeah, that's like a 3 out of 3. It's good.
No,
Where's the seafood?
Like, would you like? I would be very surprised if we ate somewhere where I was like, "Yep, that's a 4. It's off the scale." Just
scale.
hard to imagine for me. I don't know. It's like let me guess. It's beef on a bread with other stuff on it. Okay,
Well,
tastes the same.
we'll agree to disagree.
Well, that's our differences
wonderful
are what
thing.
makes us special.
Oh God, I love how you just tie a bow on it every week.
So thanks everybody for listening to episode 27. If you guys got stuff you want us to talk about, lists you want us to go over, things to crap on, research articles you want us to review, books you want us to read, shoot us an email at ptshoptalk@gmail.com. If you get a chance, go check us out on YouTube at PT Shop Talk, see our ugly mugs, see our videos, comment, go right ahead. We'll probably talk about it. Also, if you haven't, go on Facebook, like our Facebook page, PT Shop Talk at Facebook. I'm getting better at posting extra pictures and stuff. Also,
What?
if we don't have episodes and things for the week, I will post updates there as well. So until next time, I'm Casey Hansen. With me as always is
Nick Doeling.
Jeremy Van Kloppenberg.
Good luck and prayers to you and Amy on your baby, buddy.
Thank you, brother.
Yay.